Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and we are live. Literally, Jeremy Chugs and I, we left the studio. I didn't even have time to get a Raiders jersey because Chugs and I left. The Raiders AP and Telesco said, F that. I want you back here live on the Raiders Report. If you don't know, the Silver and Black have signed former Cowboys wide receiver Michael Gallup. This is a one-year deal worth up to $3 million. I mean, today, Chugs and I, we were live. We were talking about what the Raiders could potentially do because when today started, the Las Vegas Raiders had 3 open roster spots. You're allowed to have 91 because the Raiders have David Agoa, the International Pathway Program player. That gives you that extra spot. So because of that, then the Raiders moved on from Tyreek Jones. Now you had the extra spot. With the Raiders working out Jaylon Guyton, we were talking about receivers today on the Raiders Report, and I was like, to me, the number one receiver, if you're Las Vegas, that I would sign is Michael Gallup. Beep-boop, beep-boop, beep-boop. 90 minutes later, here we are. Las Vegas Raiders sign Michael Gallup. Hey, Pete Telesco, are you watching me? Are you watching me? If you are, pull up here right now on the Raiders Report. Let's have a good time. I'll tell you what, though. This was a move that is a big-name guy, and because he's a Dallas Cowboy, like, whether you like it or not, a lot of people kind of know who he is, but where exactly is he going to fit with the Las Vegas Raiders? We're going to talk about all of that coming up here on today's show. If you want to use hashtag Raiders, get those questions, comments up here. That would be dope AF. If I got your jersey, first person that bangs on today's show, I'm going to go grab that jersey and we're going to get this thing rocking and rolling. One-word reaction to the signing of Michael Gallup. 1 year worth up to $3 million. I don't have exactly what the base value is, but it's up to $3 million. Like, right now, Gallup's probably going to be your wide receiver 3. I still think Brock Bowers works primarily in the slot, and that's going to be your main guy there. But I'll tell you what, to have a wide receiver 3 like Gallup, that's a pretty good signing right there for me. Let me give some shout-outs here to the nation. Sean says, awesome. Fantastic from John Mendia. Perfect from Mike Montez. Nice from that big motherfucking Bill. Sign Xavier Howard next from Big Papa. You know what? I love it when you call me Big Papa. I would be totally down with the idea of the Raiders going out and getting Xavier Howard. Bro, if they got Xavier Howard, I would look at Chugs, and I'd look at my bosses, and I'd go, how long do we have to party tonight so that way we don't got to come in tomorrow? I'll tell you that right now. If we got Xavier Howard, shit. You know what? I'd even put that out there to y'all. If you want to party so late tonight that Chugs and I don't even have to come up tomorrow, you let me know. You guys let me know if you're down to clown. That's just up to me. You guys let me know, man. One-word reaction. Honcho, I love this. I'm so ready for next season. Raiders. This, to me, is a really solid depth move. Like, yeah, he's definitely not what he was when he first came out of college, out of Colorado State. I've had a few people from Dallas say he's basically only got one leg now. And that's maybe why it's such a cheap deal, and some people are really afraid of the medicals, right? We talk so much about the medicals when it comes to the draft. We don't talk about it maybe as much of after the fact, like after the draft with players in free agency. But like the fact that the Raiders handled the draft the way that they did and then got Michael Gallup pretty quickly on, I would say, a fairly cheap contract. I like this depth a lot here by the Silver and Black. What up, Will? Drafting well, signing well. Man, what a time to be alive, boys. Let's go get Howard or Gilmore for depth at corner now and be ready for the year. It's a great time to be alive. And I think Telesco and AP are doing the right things. They're doing the right things in the draft. They're doing the right things in free agency. I will still say the only, bit of a black eye on what this offseason has been is their inability to find a quarterback. Yes, you have Gardner Minshew. Yes, you have Aiden O'Connell. But, compared to everywhere else on our roster, I still think that that's one of our weaknesses here for this organization. Darren, depth. It is a depth move. Wide receiver 3. You have your 2 starters in Devontae and Jacoby. I am still going to consider Brock Bowers this wide receiver tight end hybrid role. And now you have another guy, Michael Gallup, who's more of a reliable receiver than any of the other receivers you got on your roster. Temps, what does this mean for Trey Tucker? I really wanted him to shine this year. I just hope Gallup, he doesn't take too much playing time away. We'll kind of talk about all of this here in just a moment, because we'll probably break it all down 12, 15 minutes worth of where exactly does Michael Gallup fit? What does this mean for Trey Tucker? I think it kind of depends of what type of role you want Trey to work with. Do you want Trey to be more in an offensive role? Or to me, this means more special teams. And again, I'll kind of break that down because I spoke quite a bit about Michael Gallup today on the show because we talked about the top 10 free agents that I'd want the Raiders to sign. Gallup was on that list. He was the highest rated receiver. So some of you that just got done watching us live probably just heard me talk about a lot of what I'm about to talk about again. But this is a cool move. Let's go to Big Time Willie. Davante Adams, Jacoby, Michael Gallup, Trey Tucker, Bowers, Michael Mayer. I mean, don't forget about Michael Mayer. I know you're saying 5 wide there, but I think Michael Mayer is going to be a real shocking player. But you're right, though. If you were to line up 5 wide right now with that group, good luck. Trey Tucker's taking the top off. I'd tell Davante, get open, and then you just run 3 other intermediate routes there. I'd want Gallup, little intermediate, maybe an out cut. Trey Tucker, oh, dude, that's going to be fun. Bowers seam line, or you could even line up Bowers as like the H-back. Let's get wild. What a time it's going to be alive. Will Getsy be able to get it done? Derek, Gallup will stretch the field. Good for the price. I don't know how much of a speedster he is. When he was first coming out of Colorado State, I actually really liked his route running ability, and I don't know how. He's definitely lost a step. His one leg is clearly not as healthy as what he was when he first got started coming out in the NFL. I think he's more of a possession receiver at this point. Field stretcher, that's still going to be a little bit more of Trey Tucker. All right, y'all. If you want me to break down this signing, Chugs wants 1,000 LVs down below. He wants to see 1,000 LVs. He's telling me, Mitch, I don't think we should have went live. I don't think people wanted us to go live for Michael Gallup because one person in the office said, dude, I don't know if you should go live for a Cowboys player. They're going to get mad. I said, it's Michael freaking Gallup. We got to go live. So who's here? Who's ready to rock? Who's ready to break all this down here on the Raiders Report because they just signed Michael Gallup. Kind of wild, man. You're at a little bit of depth. If they sign Xavier Howard, then this thing's really going to get crazy. For these type of shows, I like to get wet and wild. I know we just did it all week. Cheers to the nation out there. First one's on me. The first one's on me. If you haven't already, make sure you click that like button. Coming up here on today's show, we're going to get into the breaking news of the Las Vegas Raiders signing Michael Gallup. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and we got some breaking news to discuss. The Las Vegas Raiders have signed former Cowboys wide receiver Michael Gallup to a 1-year deal worth up to $3 million. I know we were just live on the Raiders Report, and I know I said, hey, goodbye, I'm leaving. The next time you're going to see Jeremy Chugs and I is on Tuesday. But you know what? When breaking news happens, we got you covered here. You might not agree with everything that Chugs and I say. You might not agree with everything that we do. But if you want Raiders news and rumors, if you want content every single day running your doorstep for the low, low price for the next 366 days of absolutely free, you hit that subscribe button. And anytime you're ready to rock, believe me when I tell you, I'm ready to rock out. So let's continue to break down what this move means for the Silver and Black after the 2024 NFL Draft and where exactly he's going to fit and how does this impact a lot of other players out there. So again, he's got that 1-year deal worth up to $3 million. I don't know what the base value is, but getting a player like Michael Gallup at that value, I think it's phenomenal. Has spent all 6 seasons in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys, was a receiver that I liked a lot when he was coming out of Colorado State. And, you know, when you do fantasy football, and I did fantasy football way, way back in the day, this is right around when Michael Gallup was coming out. He was one of my favorite receivers because I love guys that can run routes, and that's what he was. Small school guy, can run routes. Since some of his leg injuries and that ACL one in 2022 has really, I think, zapped him of a lot of that athletic ability, crisp route running that he used to be able to do when he first got into the league coming out of Colorado State. Now, a little bit slower, still a little bit more of a possession receiver, and I feel like he's been in the league for so much longer, still only 27 years old, but I do think is more of that possession guy, a little bit more reliable than a guy like Trey Tucker who might just be used for speed. And I do think that Michael Gallup is going to impact Trey Tucker in his ability to get out on the field. However, does this mean that he's going to be better than a guy like Brock Bowers, who the Raiders just drafted? I'll break all of that down, but what I want to know again, 1 year, $3 million, up to $3 million, not $3 million, up to $3 million, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know down below what you guys are thinking about the move AP and Telesco just made. For me, I'm going to give this an A- grade. I don't think that he's a spectacular player, but at the end of the day, if I was at a yard sale and I found something that was worth of value to me, I'm going to look at that and I go, that's a good value. I'm interested. Michael Gallup was the one receiver that I talked about today on the Raiders Report, and he was my number one free agent target that the Silver Black should sign if they are looking for a wide receiver. They had Jaylon Guyton in on a workout, so obviously they're looking at some sort of receivers, but it's an A- grade because you're getting somebody that has at least a little bit of pedigree here in the NFL. Yes, he's not what he once was considering the fact that he's got that injury, but 1 year worth up to $3 million. If you tell me right now I can get a receiver that's giving me 34 grabs, 418 yards, and 2 touchdowns, that already in the NFL for what it costs for a receiver is worth it. So now we're getting him at even cheaper, right? And if you end up hitting some of these benchmarks, he's going to make that $3 million, cool. I'm all good with it. I'm not even looking at the money. You're finding an extra player here to add a little bit more depth. We know we got one of the best in the biz, if not the best in Devontae. You got Jakobi Meyers. You just drafted Brock Bowers to be this slot wide receiver tight end hybrid. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think Michael Gallup impacts Brock Bowers' role at all. Bowers is still going to be that third option right next to Jakobi, right next to Davante Adams. If anything, the Michael Gallup move, I think, impacts Trey Tucker, but it also tells me a little bit more into what Trey Tucker's role this upcoming season is going to be, at least what I think it's going to be. And that's what's going to be coming up next here on the Raiders Report, because anytime something like this happens, how does it impact the other players out there? And then at the very, very end, I'll tell you how many players are on our roster and how many more we could potentially add this offseason. If you don't know, you got to know. Shout out to PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. I use PrizePicks all the time. I love them for the NBA playoffs, which actually the Heat and the Celtics are squaring up right now. All you got to do is choose more. All you got to do is choose less. It's really as simple as that. You can go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and make sure that you use code CLNS for a $100 deposit match. I also know a lot of people out there, like myself, if you don't know something, maybe you're not willing to go more or less on something that you don't know. For me, I know football, right? That's what I know. So for me, my next year's more or less that I got going here with PrizePicks, Bryce Young, 18.5 touchdowns. It's going to be more. They put a lot of talent around him. C.J. Stroud, a lot of talent around him. Heck, I got this before the trade for Stephon Diggs. Feeling real good about it. Also, Tank Dell, hopefully you're doing good. Shout out to your family, man. We're pulling for it here at Chat Sports. And then Chris Jones, we're going to go less on the 12 sacks there. Yeah, Chris Jones. Yeah, F that guy. I don't care if FKC. Tank Dell, we love you. Chris Jones, F you. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Seriously, though, as much fun as what Chugs and I have on this show, whether you care about a game or not, if you go more, if you go less, all you need then is you're going to be locked into that game. I don't care if it's hockey. I don't care if it's baseball. I don't care if it's the NBA. I promise you this. You will be locked in. Shout out to PrizePicks again for sponsoring the Raiders Report. So let's look now at the Raiders wide receiver depth chart. This is after the NFL draft. This is after the UDFA signings. And to me, it's Davante Adams 1, Jakobi Meyers 2. Gallup is going to be your number 3 receiver, okay? What's important, though, about these roles is I still wanted to show Brock Bowers on screen because I do still think that he's so good that it's not fair to just put him as a tight end. He's on our tight end graphic and he's on our wide receiver graphic because he's going to make just as much of an impact at both of those positions. I also just really wanted to be able to show you how awesome this receiving core looks like with those 3 receivers and then Brock Bowers on top of that. Hell, I got to get one where I can put Michael Mayer up there. But to me, this move does not impact Bowers. Bowers is going to get his. The Raiders chose to take Bowers over Fuaga, Terrion Arnold, Quinion Mitchell. The Raiders knew bigger need offensive tackle. Raiders knew bigger need cornerback. That's how much they like this guy. He's going to get a lot of work in Luke Getsy's offense. To me, it impacts Trey Tucker because just a few days ago, Tucker was our number 3 wide receiver. Well, now he's behind Brock Bowers. I think now he's also going to be behind Michael Gallup in targets. I also think he's going to be behind Michael Mayer when it comes to targets. But to me, what Trey Tucker now, this is screaming, is punt return, kick return. I think they're going to use Trey Tucker a little bit more in the special teams game, which, to be totally honest with you, I love Trey Tucker in special teams. Tough dude, former wrestler. He's up for the job. How about this, though? Because I know this is going to be a very common question amongst the nation, and hopefully we can have an adult conversation and not hate each other for it. If you want to see some TDs, type Trey Tucker. If you think Michael Gallup gets more receiving yards this upcoming season, let me know for the silver and black. I will admit that I think it's going to be close. The only reason why I'm willing to go more here with Michael Gallup is because I think he's going to end up getting more targets. If they end up with the exact same amount of targets, I will actually vote Trey Tucker because I think he's going to do more with them. But because Gallup is still only 27 years old, he's a good route runner. He understands route trees a little bit more than what Trey Tucker does. And I think it's going to be one of those things where Gallup will get the first crack at it. And if he doesn't succeed, then they will give it to Trey Tucker. And maybe our highest upside is with Trey Tucker. Bottom line is, though, I'm going to bet on the person that I think is getting more targets, which is Michael Gallup. So we're live here on the Raiders Report. We got 1,800 people watching us. When the silver and black do something big, we go live here on this show. So my question to everybody tuned in is, do you want to turn this into a shit show? Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. Anytime you want to stay up to date again with Raiders news, I also put out a video on Instagram. Put a video out on Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. Chugs and I want to know if the nation's ready to turn up because we're allowed to be here for another 30 minutes or so. And if you want to get this party going, tune into our live show here on the Raiders Report. It's about to get wet and wild. And I told Chugs, you know what? We might have to extend the show if the nation wants it. If not, we're out of here. If you want to extend it, we'll keep it going. Michael Gallup, welcome to the nation. I promise you we'll treat you a lot better than what the Cowboys did. Here we go. Grade the signing A, B, C, D, or F. I will let y'all know down below what my grade is. I said A minus. A minus I thought was a fair grade. Good receiver. Great name value. And you got him up to $3 million. I mean, I think up to $3 million. Even if you would have got him at $3 million, I think that would have been a good deal. Are you surprised that he's that low or no?
I'm going to give it a B minus.
B minus? Okay.
Only because the thing that worries me, and I don't want to be the party pooper here. I don't want to be the guy who's like, everybody's like, oh, like.
Let's turn up. Let's turn up. What's the grade? B minus.
You're just being a negative Nancy. The only reason I'm saying B minus is because I've been burned before with Marcus Peters. A big name, somebody who's played well in the past and who's a little bit past his prime is not the same as he once was. You're not getting prime Michael Gallup, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That's the only thing that worries me is that does he still have that explosion? People are worried that now that he's had multiple injuries, we saw he only played 9 games a couple years ago. He had an ankle injury. Then in 2022, he tore his ACL. So he's had multiple injuries stacked.
To that leg.
And he hasn't had that same burst. And that's what really helped him with the Cowboys was he was able to really, get that burst, get that separation, and be a deep ball receiver.
Yep.
Does he still have that same burst? Does he still have that ability? I think as a depth piece for what the Raiders got him at, it's a perfect signing because, it's a low risk, high reward. But talent-wise, I'm going to give it a B minus because I don't know if he, how much he has left in the tank. We have to wait until, now, this is why Roger Goodell said it, and I kind of disagreed with him that he was like, we don't need a preseason. I don't think so. He just says that because he doesn't make as much money in the preseason. I still think guys like Michael Gallup, guys like this is perfect why you still need a preseason, why you need OTAs.
Yeah, I mean, you still need a preseason.
Because you need to be able to evaluate these guys in real game situations.
Absolutely.
Can Michael Gallup go up against another cornerback whenever they're going 100%?
Yeah.
We need to see that because if not, put Trey Tucker back up at that wide receiver 3. If so, then I agree with you. I think you put Michael Gallup at the 3. Trey Tucker, he comes in and he's your gadget guy and the special teams guy.
I mean, I also think, though, that you need preseason games. I had the opportunity to play a little Topgolf with Nick Wachowski one afternoon, and he literally spoke to me about his whole, UDFA process and how, those preseason games are you can also find out, what guys, willing to go through hell and back for me in those games because not everybody cares. But to some people, that's the only time they might ever get to put on an NFL uniform.
Yeah.
And but you see time and time again, guys that don't get drafted, they make a name for themselves during some of those preseason games, and then you're watching, and you're like, holy shit. This guy is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Gilbert. Trade for a quarterback next. Now, I don't think that the Raiders are going to make a move for a quarterback. I believe.
I will say,
if they do end up trading for a QB, his name's going to be Trey Lance, and that's not somebody that you guys want.
Or Kirk.
Not going to be Kirk.
$20 to enter our 50-50 Venmo raffle. We're going to do that at the end of today's show, which you see the end of show right there. Unless somebody goes crazy, we're going out of here in 39 minutes. So you want to get in our 50-50 raffle at Mitchell Renz 365. Winner gets half the pot. So trying to make a little money. You feeling lucky?
I mean,
you feeling lucky?
Are you feeling lucky?
Art thou
Mr. Krabs?
feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
I got to go get a jersey real quick. I'll be right back. I got to go grab a jersey. There's a guy by the name of Lord Cameron Abbott, and he's got a question for the nation. Are you ready to party? Y3SN for now.
Eric Rodriguez, I'm just going to say it now. We are going 13-4 this year. Raider Nation for life. Let me know down in the comment section, does this change your record prediction? Let me know. What is your record prediction down in the comment section? Do you agree with Eric? Are the Raiders going 13-4? 12-5. What do you think? What is your record prediction for the Raiders in 2024? Go down in the comment section. I see Ren X H take 11-6. I see Yeti says 11-6. Juan says 12-5. 11-6 from Damien. Mark says 10-7. T Nipple says 12-5. James Johnson says 15-3. Wow. Let's see. Terrence Miner says 9-8. Tyler says 10-7. Josh Childs 11-6. Let me know down in the comment section, what is your record prediction for the Raiders going into next season? And Yoda, if you want to spam FKC, it's always FKC around here on the Raiders Report, so you can go ahead and spam that as well. As so did Raider Sancho. Imagine Brady with this receiving core, FKC. Raider Sancho. The thing is, I don't know if Brady still got it. Now, if there's anybody that's been able to defy Father Time, it's been Mr. Tom Brady as well as Mr. LeBron James. But, wow. I still do think I'd rather go with Minshew over Brady. I can't get on the Brady train. I just can't imagine somebody who's missed a year at his age coming back. I can't see it. Is it this? Okay. Anthony, should we sign Justin Simmons? Mitch?
I said earlier today that the only way that I'm going to sign Justin Simmons is if I try to go sign Stephon Gilmore, Xavier Howard, Steven Nelson, Adoree Jackson. All four of those guys tell me no, and I don't like any of the other corners to be able to start, so I say F it. I'm going to put Nate Hobbs on the outside, Jack Jones on the outside, and then Justin Simmons, Marcus Epps, Trevon Merrick. You go with like a rotation of three safeties. I think Justin Simmons is the only safety in the NFL talented enough to be able to do a role like that, and I trust the other two guys. Again, that's if you miss out on the other four corners. Are you guys ready to party? I sure hope so, because ready or not, Lord Cameron Abbott! Lord Cameron Abbott! Are you down to clown?
Wait.
Are you down to clown?
I don't think we got it all though.
I'll tell you what, we're at a royal. This is like a royal flush. Royalty at its finest. Lord Buddy Bear Bye! You know what, Chugs? Let's go.
There we go.
Let's go. Spam. Oh, you know what? Spam Lord. Kill two birds here.
Lord. Spam Lord. Lord. The two Lords are in the chat. Two Lords are better than one. Yes, sir. Yes, brother. Two Lords. Two Lords, king of the castle. King of the castle. I have a big chair. Anthony, Buddy Bear, we'll go back to yours in just a second. Anthony, should we sign Justin Simmons? Should the Raiders be interested in signing Justin Simmons? You had him, I believe, 5th.
I had him 5th. But again, I want the Raiders to try to get a corner, right? And if you can't get one of the top 4 corners out there, why not entertain the idea? Now, you only can do that because you have confidence in Hobbs and Jack Jones to play on the outside. If you're like, no way Nate Hobbs can play on the outside, you don't entertain the idea. DJ, should we trade for Sam Howell, AOC, and Bennett? I do think Sam Howell is better than Aiden O'Connell, though I don't really see the point in making the trade right now. Like, is Sam Howell better than Gardner Minshew? I personally do not think so. And I actually think that there'd be a few Raiders players that'd be upset about that trade. Can you go back to Buddy Bear real quick?
Yeah.
Just go back. Yep, thank you. Glad to see Schefter finally got into Mount Raider more. Long overdue, in my opinion. Who starts at corner opposite of Jack Jones? I assume Hobbs would be in the slot. Is Tyler Jones a Tom Brady fan? He didn't see my usual Tom Brady fumble. I think that most people who don't root for the Raiders are Tom Brady fans, just like because he's no.
I'd say it's split.
Split? Okay, fair enough. I think right now, opposite of Jack Jones, would be a battle between Brandon Faison, DJ Devonshire, DeCamerion Richardson, and Jacorian Bennett. Like, to me, because the Raiders decided to pass on Terry and Quinion. I mean, they didn't take a corner in the first 2 days. So I think that they're going to have a real open competition because every single corner is kind of built the same. A little bit of a slender body. You want to, put on a little bit of meat. Really good athlete, long, lanky, need a little bit of coaching. Like, that's Jacorian, that's Richardson. Richardson, I still think, might be the best one out of the group. And then Devonshire, dude, I'm telling you what, that guy can play. I watched some tape on him. If he can get his technique down a little bit, I think he can play. I still want the Raiders to try to go out and sign like Xavier Howard or Stephon Gilmore. What up, Knight? This is an arms race against the Chiefs. A-plus signing. I mean, I don't know if I want to get into an arms race against the Chiefs, if I'm being real with you. I don't think anybody wants to get into a shootout that's like challenging Steph Curry to a three-point contest. If anything, I want to get tough, I want to get physical, and I want to get into like a Virginia basketball game with the Chiefs. That's how the Raiders beat KC. Ben, what's up, brother? Telesco is the best GM in years. Reggie McKenzie deserves love, too. McKenzie definitely deserves some love. Yeah. I'll also say, like, I don't want to rip on Dave Ziegler. The problem was, I think Dave Ziegler just couldn't speak his mind enough, and he let the cancer that is Josh McDaniels take over that organization. I'll always say I'll be curious to see if he did actually want C.J. Stroud. No doubt about that. But being the best GM in years, that's not that great. There's not a lot going there. What up, Anthony? Offer Brady a higher stake in ownership if he wins a Super Bowl. Come in at the Vetman. Make it up with ownership, cement in his legacy like Jordan. Win-win. I think the problem is that actually a win-win for Mark Davis? Because he's sure he might be making more money in 1 year, but if he ends up losing out on, more money in the long haul, I think that would upset him. Though, if he comes in on the vet min, I don't really think it's going to happen.
Also, an extra 1% of the Raiders is an extra,
Sure. That's what I mean.
$300 million.
Like, you don't know. What if Mark Davis lives for another 20, 30 years and the Raiders, by the time he gets ready to pass, are worth $10 billion, and yeah, Tom Brady gets away with like $500 million. If you give him a few extra percents. I hear what you're saying. But I don't think it's going to happen. Jad, how you guys feeling about our linebacker unit?
Also, just last thing on that last part.
Yeah.
Never would happen because there's already been rumors about Kate, which he had put down, but already rumors of Caleb Williams wanting some ownership in the Bears. If you do that with Tom Brady playing and getting ownership of the team, the rest of the owners are going to throw the biggest bitch fit ever and say, no way, we're not allowing this. I think the NFL would veto that because that means then star players like a Joe Burrow, like a CJ Stroud, like a Josh Allen are going to say, well, if Brady's doing that, why can't I get part ownership if I'm playing for this team?
Oh, dude, you're not wrong in that at all. You're not wrong in that. Somebody just texted me and said, Mitch, are we partying now? We're partying now. Every Hondo's a bang. I'm doing a beer bong. Let's rock, man. Let's rock today. We got Zay.
Wait, did we answer this?
Oh,
About
how
the
do I feel
linebacker?
about our linebacker unit? I mean, I feel really good about Robert Spillane. I also, one of the comps that I had for Spillane was Tommy Eichenberg. So, like, or one of my comps for Tommy Eichenberg was Robert Spillane because they're kind of like the same mold. So I like the idea of, all right, we figured it out with, Robert Spillane. Can we figure it out the exact same way again here with Eichenberg, similar traits players? Divine Diablo's got a lot of talent, but I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm really confident in him. Luke Masterson, fun player that's going to compete. Amari Burney, really good athlete. I want to see what they can do with him. But outside of that, like, how many of those guys make the roster? Like, you keep 4 linebackers, because if you keep 4 linebackers, that means, Spillane, Divine, they're good. Tommy Eichenberg, he's good. And then that means one out of Luke Masterson, Amari Burney, or somebody's getting cut.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think our linebackers are okay. They're okay. I want Divine to be better. Please stop crying about quarterback. Minshew is a dog, and AOC is a quality backup. Maybe we need one more guy for depth preseason competition, but we're fine. I do think that we are fine at quarterback. My point has always been I don't want to be fine. Like, nobody has ever described fine as good. Next time your wife says, how do I look? Say, fine. If she looks at you and goes, how do I? Fine. I don't want fine. I want good. I want great. I want elite. I don't want fine at the quarterback spot. What are our chances of signing Xavier Howard? Also, has the boot been shipped? The boot has not been shipped. I still have to do a lot. Like, Wednesday is my day that I usually handle all that stuff. I'm moving on Wednesday. So I'm going to say boots, all that kind of stuff, it's not going to be shipped out for a little while. I'd say 3 weeks, I'd say. Hopefully it gets to you in 3 weeks. But we'll get you the boot. Shout out to you for winning. Nico, now we definitely need Dak. Am I right, Chugs? Not again. I can't do it again. I can't do it again. I can't do it.
People ready to give Tom Brady ownership at age 40, but not willing to give Dak a contract. Wild.
Who do you trust more to win a Super Bowl?
Right now, probably Dak.
I don't know, Blue. I don't know. Michael, we may have no choice but to throw Dak the bag. No, I mean, again, I think Dak is a really, really good quarterback. He's not the QB I want. That's it. We're moving on. David, do you try and get Stafford since he's asking for more money, or do you leave it between AOC and Minshew? Shout out to Raider Nation. I mean, if I can pick, like, sure, I'd rather have Matthew Stafford, right? Like, Matthew Stafford is the superior quarterback to both of those guys, and if you put Matthew Stafford on the Las Vegas Raiders, that's a Super Bowl caliber team. It is, flat out, point blank. The problem is, though, I don't think he's going anywhere. Like, I think Stafford knows he has value there. I think that he knows that.
He only has a couple of years, too.
Yeah,
that arm is falling off.
It's falling off. He's going to have a shot there.
Dude, he's gonna be like Drew Brees at the end of his career, where after he plays or after he finishes, he's not going to be able to throw a ball.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're definitely not. And he has all that baseball baggage on top. Like, that's a lot of innings pitched in that arm. I think the problem with this is he knows that they're going to pay him. Like, what are the Rams going to do? They're going to roll with Jimmy Garoppolo or Stetson Bennett? Stetson Bennett is not even near the football field. So I think they know, and he knows that they're going to pay him. Thugador, what's up, man? Confidence in Minshew's ability 1 to 10 as the starter, I'd say a 6. Like, Minshew's the type of QB that is a 6 out of 10. That's a QB that's going to get you 9 to 10 wins, right? Like,
what would your scale be for Dak? 1 to 10.
1 to 10 in the regular season, I'd probably put him at a 7 or an 8. Like, he's a QB that can win you 12, 13 games with this Raiders team. I really do think so. Mike, I have just as much
13 wins would be 7?
But it's the playoffs, dude.
But you
I have
said regular season 7.
I don't know. 7 or 8.
13 wins. Number 1 seed in the AFC.
That's like an 8.
7.
That's like an 8. That's like an 8. 13 wins is an 8. 12,
number 1 seed.
11, 12, that's a 7.
13 wins, number 1 seed, and you're giving them an 8?
Is it number 1 seed? Probably.
Yeah, I would guess.
I can't do it. I don't want Dak. Dude, I just don't want Dak. Nico, I'm with you. Here we go again. Dak is a casual. I don't think he'll ever win. None. Leon, what's up, Mitch? Raiders should sign Ryan Tannehill for 1 year. Leon, I'm going to respectfully disagree with that one. I don't think Ryan Tannehill's any good. I don't think he's better than Gardner Minshew. Is he better than Aiden O'Connell? I can make some arguments, right? Like, I'd probably rather roll with Aiden in the regular season, but I'd probably rather roll with a guy like Tannehill who's just more of a vet in the postseason. But, like, you're going to have to pay Ryan Tannehill $8-10 million a year. I'm good on that. What up, Dab City Bullies? Which right now the Raiders are going to be somewhere around $15.6 million in salary cap space. But remember, after June 1st, because of Jimmy Garoppolo, post-June 1st cut, we're going to be able to get that $24 million after June 1st.
They also cut that random practice squad guy.
Yeah, that's worth probably a case of Happy Dads. I'm going to say Max's contract $780. I don't know.
What about Newton?
Who?
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton. Christ, no. I mean, next one's going to be, what about Colin Kaepernick? Usually when we get into that part of the show, it's like, all right, we got to get the hell out of here. Usually. Chugs, I had somebody ask if we're going to do a duck race. That's up to you.
Oh, no, I already put it up there.
Oh, well, I didn't even know. Well, then the answer to that is
$20.
Yes.
$20 to get in. If you want to get in this 50-50 raffle, winner gets half the pot. $20 to enter at Mitchell Renz 365.
All right, Steve Pena is in. Lord Cameron Abbott, LCA, is in. Anthony Green, you in. Scott Eckert also is in. Charles G, you in. Navman, you sent me 5. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. So send me another 15 to get in. Send me another 15 if you want in the 50-50. I want some more Raiders questions. Come on. We got 22 minutes. 22 minutes. I need some Raiders questions. Gallup, the best wide receiver 4 in the league. I don't disagree with that. I think it's hard to find a wide receiver 4 as good as Michael Gallup. Again, I'm considering Brock Bowers receiver tight end hybrid. I think Anthony's kind of in agreement here. It's hard to find a receiver as good as Michael Gallup, wide receiver 4, with a contract that's worth up to $3 million. I think you get Anthony. We're on the same page here. Latoya, I would have gotten Chark instead. You're talking DJ Chark. I actually think that Michael Gallup and DJ Chark are very similar, where really good name value, both have suffered really bad injuries and are not the player that they once were. I think the reason why they went with Gallup is because he's more of a possession receiver now, while Chark was more of a speedster, and they already have their speedster guy in Trey Tucker, and they were looking for a little bit more of a vet. Again, only 27, but more of a possession guy in Gallup. Just my opinion, but I hear you. Let's go to Lord Cameron Abbott. Gallup stays healthy. We have the best wide receiver lineup, including our tight ends being the best. What's your thoughts on what I think Minshew will make the playoffs? I mean, I said it before. The Raiders won 8 games last season. You had Josh McDaniels, you upgraded to Antonio Pierce. You had, Bo Hardigree and Mick Lombardi calling plays. As much as I'm scared about Luke Getsy, I'm not going to lie to y'all, but I'm still hoping Getsy's an upgrade there. And you had the worst quarterback play in the National Football League in Brian Hoyer, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Aiden O'Connell, right? I'm hoping Aiden gets better. Gardner Minshew, I know, is not going to be as bad as those other guys. Based on those 3 things that I just said right there and right there alone, the Raiders should be able to improve at least 1 or 2 games. So now you're at 9 to 10 wins. Now you add Christian Wilkins. Your defense gets another year to learn in Patrick Graham's system. I would say the Raiders should be able to get to 9 to 10. If they can get a lucky one, they need another Chiefs Christmas Day win, maybe you can get to 11. I'm going to be in this 9 to 10 win range, which to me does at least give you a shot to make the playoffs. It does. It gives you a shot. They got a tough schedule, though. Real tough schedule. Buddy Bear, quarterback room looking hella fine. See what I did there?
I don't know.
QB room looking hella fine. Nope.
Over my head.
Shane, what up, Shane? I agree with Mitch on getting an elite quarterback, but are we looking towards the future on drafting or signing an elite quarterback? I mean, I'll tell you what, the way that the Raiders are kind of building this roster, if anything, I think they are trying to trade or sign one more than draft one. And the only reason why that I say that is because we had the chance to pick at 13 this past year, right? Literally a few days ago, picked at 13. If we're saying that we think that this team's going to get better, then the Raiders are also probably building for the short term, which means they're going to try to get better, because if you're a head coach like Antonio Pierce and a GM like Telesco that's kind of getting another shot here, I don't really think you have the ability to be able to do a full rebuild, right? So you're going to try to win right away, establish yourself. To me, the Raiders, though, they're building a team where they're building everything around this quarterback spot. And then what happens? You save up your money? Do you then try to go and spend big on a QB? Like, to me, the Raiders, the way they're building this team is more to get a QB in free agency and trade one than the draft one. Because if you're picking at 19, 20, 21 every single season, it's not going to be easy to get that franchise guy. Now, maybe you find one. But it's not, I don't know. You're not going to be able to trade up and get one of those top guys. You got to find one. Wild one, what's up, bro? How about trading for Carr? No. Just messing with you. After hearing some of this quarterback BS, I just couldn't resist. I know. We had actually a few people today ask us if we should trade for Derek Carr, and it kind of just goes back to the whole Dak Prescott discussion. I know Dak can be a good quarterback. I know Derek Carr can be a good quarterback. But at the end of the day, there are certain situations that I don't want guys in. Just like I don't want Derek Carr in a cold weather game. I don't want Dak Prescott in a game that means a lot in the playoffs. And I don't think that DC is good enough to get you over the hump and where you need to go. I'm not fine at quarterback. Derek Carr is fine at QB. I want great. Danny, should the Raiders still sign a linebacker? I mean, there's still like linebackers out there that you can consider. I think edge rushers, like if you want to look at a guy like Emmanuel Ogbah, could be a name to consider. But then again, if I'm Las Vegas, I am concentrating on getting a corner. Like, yeah, you were able to add really good depth here, Michael Gallup, which I think it's a good signing. I think it's a good move. But to me, I'm looking right now, like I would say finding another edge rusher is more important than finding a linebacker, because I do think linebacker is the least important position in a Patrick Graham defense, because they like to go a little bit more, the cornerbacks, the safeties, more DBs out there. Where to me, I'm confident in Divine, Robert Spillane, and then Tommy Eichenberg to be able to just patch it together. Maybe even you throw in Luke Masterson, Amari Byrne. Like, that's patchwork, because I think only two linebackers most of the time are going to be on the field. But, like, could you add someone? Sure. Edge corner is where I think is a bigger need right now. What's up, Mike? Was checking out next year's quarterbacks today and watching some tape. Really liking Carson Beck from Georgia. Want to stay away from Shedeur because of his dad getting involved and being a distraction. I mean, I'll say this. I will give Dion a little bit of credit here. He also knows that he's not like every other situation. I also think that Dion knows that quarterback is probably the most important position of it matters where you go, and he's just trying to put his son in the best spot to succeed. So, like, I'm not going to fault Dion for doing that, because I know this. If I had the power to put my son in the best position to have him succeed, I would try to do it, and I wouldn't really give a shit if people called me crazy, because, like, that's your kid. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, not every parent has the power that Dion's going to have. So, again, I'm not going to fault him for that. I got to watch Carson Beck a little bit more. I got to see more from him, right? Like, my big knocks on J.J. McCarthy were I needed to see more. I'm a big, like, if I'm going to take a quarterback in the top 5, I need a lot to see. And Beck has not given me enough of that yet, where the only quarterback, and again, this is the guy that I want you to keep an eye on, Cameron Ward, where I got to see more from him too. But Cameron Ward is like the next Jaden Daniels to me, where it's like went to a small school, now he's going to get an opportunity to go to a bigger school, more talent around him. Dude's got a lot of skill set. I hope Cam stays at Miami for 1 year, goes for another season. But the quarterback, some interesting names coming out next season. I think Shedeur is going to be the biggest one, though. Ishmael, if Raiders versus Chiefs is week 1, how do you see that game playing out? It could be a very impactful game. I see both teams taking that game very seriously. I mean, every game in the NFL is taken seriously. Week 1's definitely seriously. I know the Raiders are always going to carry a chip on their shoulder going up against KC, and you know for a fact KC's going to carry a chip on their shoulder. It's also their ring ceremony. There's going to be a lot of hype. There's going to be a lot of anticipation around it. But I think at any point, and this is me being honest with you, if it's Chiefs-Raiders, if I'm flipping a coin, I'm going to say that 6 of those times are landing on Kansas City, 4 landed on the Raiders. Spivey, Mitch and Chugs, thanks for the great content. Spivey, shout out to you, my guy. Really, really greatly appreciate the fact that you were always tuning in here and rocking with us. All right, Chugs, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the names here. It's going to be your final call to get in our duck race here. We're going to do the duck race, and then we're going to hop on out of here. It seems like, we're going to be live tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time. I know it says show ends in 14 minutes, but I feel like people here are sleeping a little bit. So if you guys want to wake up, we'll keep it rocking. If not, Chugs and I are going to get on out of here. $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. Charles G is in. The next name that I got here is Isidro. You in. Philip Boger is in. Frank Bust, you in. Luis Rod is in. So as it stands right now, $20 Venmo. You would win $90 here on the Raider Sports. Steven Mont is in. And then Aaron Yans. All right, Aaron Yans is in. So we have right now 1,600 people watching. Luis, shout out to you. Alex F., not leaving. I'm not freaking leaving, man. I'll tell you, I'm not the smartest guy in the nation. I'm definitely not the best looking, right? I'm definitely not the oldest. Wasted's got me there. Chugs and I, though, I guarantee you this. You watch a show of ours, no matter what you're dealing with, I want people to be able to come to the stream and be like, you know what? Life's not that serious. We can have a good time. Talk a little Raiders. Talk a little ball.
I don't care if you're down on your luck. I don't care if you're having a little bit of a bad time. I don't care if you got caught on the tarmac of a plane sitting next to Jackson Mahomes. No matter what happens, we have your back.
That's pretty bad if you did. I'm going to be honest. If I got onto a plane and I had Jackson Mahomes sit next to me, actually, you know what I would do? I'd probably actually take advantage of that. If you're like sitting there, think about the worst person to sit next to on a flight. For one time, I'd be like, now's my opportunity to be that person. You're just like sleeping on his shoulder. You're just like nudging him the whole time.
Achoo!
He's probably going to be like, do you know who I am? And be like, I've never seen you a day in my life. That would probably impact him the most. That would be your opportunity. That'd be the only time I would do it. I would do it to Jackson Mahomes. He deserves it. All right, I'm going to refresh one more time here. And then I see Robert is in. Robert Serta. Hopefully I pronounced that right. And then Alfredo Robels, you in.
Mitch, super chat.
Oh, Darth. Darth. My sweet Darth. Hang on a second, Darth. I'm bad at multitasking here. All right, Chugs, I just sent you the names. What would you call Channing Tatum if he became non-binary? Channing, they, them. I'm not going to lie. I'm surprised you put that up on screen. That's a good joke, though.
What?
That's a good joke.
Why are you surprised that I would put it on screen?
Well, because usually anything controversial we don't put up on screen. That one's, I'll tell you this. I love those type of jokes. I'm okay with any type of joke. I don't get offended. You can make as many white jokes as you want. I do not give a shit. If I think something's funny, I laugh. Alex actually sometimes gets mad at me. She's like, because I feel like if I think of something, I say it. But I also think, I don't think it's fair if somebody says something that might be controversial and you laugh for you to get mad at laughing at that. If it's just a knee-jerk reaction, like it's funny to me.
Yeah.
And that's my problem.
Vertero. Is this another O.J. Howard type of signing, or will Gallup make it through the preseason?
I'll tell you what, I respect the shit out of this question because O.J. Howard, big name, some injury concerns. I know that the Raiders actually wanted to try to figure out a way to keep O.J. Howard, but because they weren't going to give him a very big role, Howard asked to be released, which is kind of like why the timing was when it was. It was so early last offseason. I'll tell you what, though, sneaky, because every single year I always do a show, which is surprise cut candidates. I did a show, surprise draft candidates. We had Brock Bowers on that video. I do surprise cut candidates. I think Michael Gallup is a sneaky name to put on there just because well-known player, people are getting excited about it, right? We went live, we're talking about it here, but what if he's not healthy? Like, what if he's not healthy, not good enough, ends up getting cut? Bertero, I'm going to remember this one. That's a good question. What quarterback could we trade for this offseason? The only quarterback I think that the team would trade for at this point is Trey Lance. And I don't want Trey Lance. But the only reason why I do it, if I was a betting man, is because Rich Scrangarilla was the quarterback coach for the 49ers back in 2021. I would imagine if you go from 12 all the way up to 3, that your quarterback coaching somewhat has to be a little bit on board with that QB. Because of that reason and that reason alone, and because he's the third quarterback for the Cowboys, Trey Lance. Maybe Michael Gallup says that guy can still play. I don't have the answer for you. Oscar, what up? Currently working now, checking in with the nation, like the Gallup signing. I like the Gallup signing too. I think it's low risk, decent amount of reward, good depth player, third receiver on this team now. I like it. All right, here's the duck race. Winner is going to go home. Can you add one more? I need a Richie. R-I-C-C-I. Winner's going to go home with $140. 140 doll hairs about to go down here on the Raiders Report. You ready? 3, 2, 1, run it. It's not too often we get the old classic duck race. It's not too many times. We did an elephant race earlier today, which...
You didn't love that one.
It wasn't as good. I feel like they didn't move.
The horse race is by far, though.
Horse is elite. The dog race is elite.
The boats are pretty good.
Even the Cupids, which it's so dumb, it's a good race, though. The entire time. Like, Isidro's got a comfortable lead. Like, duck races, I feel like I got it figured out. Like, Isidro, sorry if you're watching, you're not winning this race.
Anthony Green's the winner.
You think?
Charles
G right now. I mean, Charles G's in the outfit that Nico Laz would wear.
If Isidro wins, that would be the funniest thing.
Oh, I agree. Day. If Lord Cameron Abbott, though, if anybody deserves to win, it's Lord Cameron Abbott. Uh-oh. Robert Serta. Scott Eckert. I think it's going to be Serta. I'm certain that it's Serta. You know what I also realized? I think that's 2 times in a row that the old man duck has won. I think the last winner we had was the old man duck.
Very savvy.
How much did I say he was going to win? 130. 40. No, 140. 140. Congrats, Mr. Serta. Mr. Serta, can you please confirm down below that you just received $140 here on the Raiders Report? If you could. Mario said winner gets $14,000. I hope that there's a day that we can do a duck race like that. I really, really do.
We did give away $3,000.
$3,550. Shout out to Chris Luna. That's going to be I'm going to remember that one. Because anytime like a record happens on this show, which I have a great memory with some things, other things, horrible memory. When it comes to certain numbers on this show or like guy stats, especially if I see something, I can remember that. Chris Luna, I will remember that until it gets broken. I don't see it. I don't see that one leaving my mind. Alex, though, she's like, do you remember what I told you yesterday of what we're doing tomorrow? That answer's no. No idea. Pretty sure you didn't tell me. Will Michael Gallup make an impact this season? Give me a yes. Give me a no. I think this is what we're going to do. Chugs and I are going to hop on out of here. We appreciate all of y'all for tuning in to the Raiders Report. Appreciate you tuning in to the Raiders Report.
If everybody wants to, leave a 99-cent sticker, maybe like a tip,
Sending some good vibes.
Yeah. Maybe a little tip for your Raider services. We'd appreciate it.
A little tip for Tat. Type those TTs. Buddy Bear. Trade for insert random name quarterback here.
I couldn't say that with a straight face because honestly, what pissed me off more than anything is all these restaurants.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started.
That ask for tips, but it's like they don't do, like it's not like a waiter. It's like at Chipotle or something. Like, what?
I mean, here's the thing. We're one of the only countries where the people going leave the tip. Why not restaurants just, and again, if you're a restaurant owner, you might hate my take on this, but why not the restaurant owner just pay the employee more? And, like, if you want to still tip them, they get more. Dude, when I went to Paris, I was mind blown that you don't, like, you can leave a little bit of a tip, but they also get paid much more. And they're also, like, dude, the service we got, like, they were nice to us. So, I don't know. I've also heard, like, people in France, like, don't like Americans. But, dude, great service. Great service. I don't know.
Lord Buddy Bear.
I get I'll always leave a tip on DoorDash. And if you, like, go above and beyond my services, I will tip you more. I don't like the expectation of you have to get a tip. Because 6 weeks ago, we went out for drinks one night, and this woman was, was horrible to us. And I feel like I get along with everybody, was a horrible person to us. And got mad that we didn't.
She was rude.
Dude, unbelievable. It was actually insane. Like, I don't want to get into all the details, but I can't wait.
Please do.
No, I'm good. But we left her a small tip. And she came out, and she's like, ripped us a new one. And in my mind, I was like, I feel like I gave you worthy of a tip. Wasn't a lot. It wasn't.
What did she say to y'all when she came out?
That's all I'm worth. Literally, she came out. I was like, what is happening? Dude, I'm not going to lie. Like, it was bad.
What did y'all say back?
Ask Chase.
Chase was with y'all?
Chase, Allie, people who used to work here. Ask Chase and Allie about our waitress at Katie Ice's house.
Oh, wow.
Dude, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Yep.
They're wilding over there.
Dude, they are. I might go wild over there with them. You want to go wild now? Celtics Heat? Sounds kind of wild.
Oh, yeah. Hey, if y'all want to party a little bit,
how
about this?
I'm listening.
I will do a boot if somebody drops a 500 over on Celtics.
Dude, that's out. If somebody drops a 500 on Celtics or Heat, I'll do a boot.
You have the Celtics. Actually, I think it.
Dude, that would be insanity. If somebody dropped a Hondo over there, I would go do a beer bong.
If y'all want to see
Celtics or Heat, I would do a beer bong.
Miss Allie Barefoot over on Celtics.
Dude.
The link is over there.
I don't know if I could do a boot. I could do a boot. We could try it. My problem is I haven't eaten anything, so I'm not even kidding you guys, I did that one boot. I feel like I'm effed up. So I always tell you guys, I don't eat Monday, like, during the week because I try to lose some weight. I don't drink these days.
Mario says if somebody drops a 500 over there, he'll shave his head and post it.
Mario, we got to put that on the show. Mario, if you do it, though, can you also take a picture of, like, a shocked face? I'll put it on a thumbnail. Bro, are you kidding me? Mario, I swear, if you shave your head, if somebody drops a 500, Mario, you shave your head, you take a picture, but, like, you got to have, like, that shock face, like.
Can y'all go spam Raiders
with,
over
like,
there?
a bald head? I'm putting that on a thumbnail. Put it on a thumbnail.
Can y'all go spam Raiders over there so Allie knows that we sent you? I put the link in there a bunch. Go over to Celtics and go spam
Crazy
Raiders.
Thing is, he's bald. That would be funny. You know what? I'm in. If somebody's sending a 500, Mario, you send me the pic of you with the bald head, shocked face, thumbnail. Are you kidding me?
Oh, my goodness.
What if that's something that we do? If you hit the gong, you get to go on the thumbnail.
Rebel's right. Raiders raid.
What if you got to do that? You send in a 500, your face gets to go on the thumbnail.
We have something there. Something to work with.
I like it. From me, from Jeremy Chugs. Will we have to do a boot? I will say this. Every Hondo dropped on Heat and Celtics in the next 10 minutes, I will do a beer bong. I'm heading out.